Well, hello, boys and girls. How are we doing today? Is it when you feel like it o'clock? Because it's certainly when I feel like it o'clock, that's for sure. It's Saturday morning, and I'm now going to be Nutella bathing for the next 3 days because we have the wretched All-Star game going on. That's what I said, wretched. It is a horrible game. It's the most non-entertaining hockey thing ever. I don't watch it at all. Have no interest. But what I do now is I do a lot of videos based on what's going to be happening with the trade deadline and stuff like that. Now, um, first of all, I'm well lubed. I certainly hope you are. Jaime's Body Lube, it's the best. There, I said it. We support pants-free living here too. You know that. And I also, there's another. It's not really a rule, but it's a moral code I go by. If you're going to make, like my last video, I just went off on all the mistakes that the Edmonton Oilers did, blah 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 blah. And nothing drives people crazy more than drives people nuts more than saying something but not then doing anything or making an effort to try to rectify the situation. It's very easy to point out mistakes, a lot more difficult to solve them. So that's what I'm going to do this video, boys and girls. So get out your books and your study, whatever you use for study equipment, binders, what have you. Sharpen your pencils over at the lube dispenser, and let's get down to this, shall we? Okay. I think the Edmonton Oilers should do now after the mistakes that they've made. They put themselves in a little bit of a quandary. First of all, Edmonton's not as bad a team as they're showing this year. I think you're likely going to see improvement in the second half. You could even maybe see them go on a run and maybe almost make the playoffs. But it doesn't mean that they are, for everything that they've been rebuilding, they should be a lot better than they are. And I already went over, if you look at my previous post, I went over all the mistakes that I believe they made, and I also kind of gave my input as to what I would have did, which you should already known because if you watch my videos all the time, and I don't know why you wouldn't, I said this right from the beginning, all of the thing, as they were making the mistakes, I was claiming that they were making these mistakes. Now, what do we do now? Well, one of the mistakes I think I said they made, and everybody kind of scoffed at me, was I thought that before they signed Draisaitl, I thought in this day and age, in the cap era, they should have traded him. Not because Draisaitl's bad, but because he's very, very good. And $8.59 million when you've already got somebody signed for 12.5 is difficult in the cap world. Everybody knows that. Now, how do I think that they should fix the situation they're in now? The same way. I really think that Nugent Hopkins is a hell of a good centerman. Is he Draisaitl level, skill level? No, but he's damn close. He's really good. There's a guy, Mike Horsey says, he says, I don't know what his name is, but it's a guy I kind of banter with on Twitter called Mike Horsey Says I'm Good or something like that. And he said something very true. He said there used to be a day when we used to tell kids to go on the ice and try to score. And now we tell kids to go on the ice and make sure you got your man. And it has changed the game, and I agree, not necessarily for the better. And with that change, you have guys like Nugent Hopkins that aren't able to show what they're truly all about just because they're really good at playing the defensive side of the game and taking their man and just doing basically what the coach will say. But if you put him in an offensive situation, there's no reason why Nugent Hopkins can't at least be a 70-point player. And if you, at $6 million a year instead of $8.5 million for your 80 points for Draisaitl, I take that, honestly, in a cap world. So I'm thinking something into the effect of trading. Carolina needs a center, like, really bad. I would go something like Ekholm, or not Ekholm, Lindholm, which is a good right-handed or right winger, kind of a grinder out, can play third, fourth, making about $4 million a year, and he'll pot you about 50 points a season. Nothing wrong with that. Put him on the right side with Nugent Hopkins, Jake Bean, and Hayden Fleury. Or instead of one of those, their first round draft pick in this year. In fact, you know what? They need a center so bad, you could probably get all of that package. You could probably get Jake Bean, Hayden Fleury, their first this year, which looks like a middle first, and Lindholm. If you can't get the first, maybe try to bring in, see what you can do with Rask in the middle. You're probably looking at maybe some salary cap issues there. Let's go for the first, and Hayden Fleury, Jake Bean, and Lindholm. Now, you say, well, we don't need draft picks. That's not true. You never stop getting draft picks. If anybody wants to see how you never stop getting draft picks, get Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay never stops getting draft picks, and they're deep as hell. Problem is, the thing with Tampa Bay is they've got freaking an awesome scouting staff and development team, which brings me to my next move. Change your skeleton, your head guy or whatever. Get in there, go around the league, identify people that have been successful on teams, and bring them in and change the environment in your scouting staff and development team. You got to be hitting on nowadays you got to hit on almost every of your top draft picks for sure. And then you got to hit some bottom ones as well. And that just hasn't been happening in Edmonton for a while. That's the next thing I would do. Now, you say, well, I got these draft picks. Are we just rebuilding? No. Now you've got yourself a right winger. You've got McDavid. You've got Hopkins. You can go out into the free agent market and start filling those wings. There's going to be some excellent wingers this year. It's going to be a good draft off the top, or a good free agent market this year. You got Van Riemsdyk, you got Nash, you got a whole bunch of players that you can start filling those wings with. The wings are the easiest to fill, and you can fill them with free agents. So you picked up one winger, and you picked up a couple defensemen, which they hopefully learn their lesson and keep drafting defensemen that can move the puck like Jake Bean. He's been a point-a-game player in juniors now for a while, has played for Canada. And Hayden Fleury, although he's a defensive guy, he can move the puck really, really well. Carolina has identified those kind of players well. They have Slavin, they have Pesci, what's his name? Oh, Slavin, Pesci, Hanifin. They've identified those players really, really well, and I believe they have them here as well. That's basically what I would do to get the ball rolling. Of course, we already know you fire the general manager and all of that, but whoever takes over, that's what I would do. I guess I just hired myself as a general manager, didn't I? Yeah. I'm sure that they'll be knocking on my basement any minute here. Anyways, boys and girls, have a great day and lots of love to ya. Make sure you subscribe and get yourself the vat of Jaime's Body Lube helicoptered to your door and a My NHL Pearls of Wisdom necklace, because everybody loves a pearl necklace.